votes. Thank you.
Good. All right. Call the meeting to order Wednesday, May 6, 7:30 p.m.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Penders,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilman Steffen,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Present.
Councilwoman Martin, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and Deacon Rob, just before you sit down. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone,
Good evening.
and thank you for allowing me to come and say a little prayer and a little invocation. Remember that we are in the presence of God. Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, whose goodness fills your hearts with joy. Blessed are you who have brought us together this day to work in harmony and peace. Strengthen us with your grace and wisdom, for you are God forever and ever. Lord Jesus, we ask a blessing upon all here gathered. The work that they do not only for the town and for the community, but they do for you. We ask blessings upon their families, their work here and other places. Bless all who dwell in this beautiful town of Boston. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he look upon you with kindness and give you his peace. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, item 4 tonight is preliminary matters, which there are none. So moving on to regular 2 for our regular business. The first item is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the March 18th, 2026 board meeting. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item? Oh, you know what? You weren't.
I was not at that meeting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just caught that. And Councilman Penders, would you like to take that item?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the corrected and adoption of the minutes from the March 18th, 2026 meeting.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Abstain?
Councilman Penders,
Approved? Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Steffen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Abstain.
Motion carried.
All right. Next item is a correction and adoption of the minutes from the April 1st, 2026 meeting. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item?
Yes, after reviewing the minutes and correction, I'd like to make a motion to approve the adoption of the minutes from April 1st, 2026.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Steffen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item 3 is a correction and adoption of the minutes from the special board meeting on April 22nd, 2026. And Councilman Stefan, would you like to take that item tonight?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to accept the modified meeting minutes for April 22nd.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Steffen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Abstain.
Motion carried.
All right. Next item under regular business is item number 4, the consideration of all fund bills. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor. I make a motion to pay the bills with a total of $397,987.55.
I'll second the motion.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Steffen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. We have 18 items of correspondence for item number 3 tonight, and they are all in file in the town clerk's office and part of the board pack, and they are as follows. The first item is the town clerk's report for March of 2026. Item number 2 is the dog control officer report for March of 2026. Item 3 is the code enforcement officer report for March of 2026. Item number 4 is the March income statement and cash balances for the town. Item number 5 is the 2025 Annual Financial Report, also known as an AFR. Yet that document is not in all of our packets. It's a 115-page document, so we decided to save a couple of trees there. Item 6 is a comparative year-end fund balances. Item 7 is the town's capital project summary as of the end of last year, which is December 31st of 25. Item number 8 are the 2025 capital projects and expenditures by funding source. Item number 9 is the SLFRF, which stands for State Local Accounting Recovery Funds Closeout Report of 2025. Those are the American Rescue Plan Funds Closeout Report, which is a federal requirement. And item 10 is the 2025 Energy Benchmarking Report and associated energy use charts. Item number 11 is the appointment of Carla Mead as the new Deputy Town Clerk in a full-time position. Item number 12 is the Erie County Department of Environment and Planning Community Development Block Grant Report for April 1st, 2025 through March 31st of 2026. Item number 13 is the Erie County Department of Environment and Planning Fair Housing Training Opportunities. Item number 14 is the dispatch call summary reports for January, February, and March of 2026 from Hamburg Dispatch. Item number 15 is the NYSEG and RG&E to encourage customers to call the UDIG before you dig. It is that time of the year. Please make sure you dial 811 before you dig. We have had a couple of incidents in town already this season. Item number 16 is an application for use of meeting facility for the town of Boston regarding the compliance training for the day and evening, and it has the state mandated annual training that all staff needs to go through. Item number 17 is an application for use of meeting facility for the town of Boston for the Board of Assessment Review. And item number 18 is an application for use of meeting facility for the Boston Democratic Social Club. Again, all those items are in the town clerk's office for review. Moving on to new business. The first item under new business tonight, as always, are requests from the floor. If anyone wants to come up to the microphone, please state your name and address, and please keep it to 3 minutes each. The floor is now open.
I may go a few seconds over. Jay Jackson, 7964 Back Creek Road. 10 years ago, I began working with our town clerk, our town board, Conservation Advisory Council, Boston Historical Society, chiefs and members of our town fire companies, as well as local businesses. I was also part of a group of Boston citizens that represented a wide cross-section of backgrounds and interests. There were hunters, animal lovers, Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, males, females. They had all sorts of jobs: engineering, maintenance, sales, trucking, manufacturing, healthcare, politics, education, technical. The Boston Awareness Group was quite diverse. With the inspiration and support of all those good people, I became the designer, maintainer, and financier, generally chief cook and bottle washer of this website, bostonny.com. 10 years. You'll see it contains lots of relevant and useful information about Boston, like public service buildings, such as our post offices and library, list of organizations and groups in town, like the Lions Club, and those for our youth and seniors. I stay in contact with the leaders of those groups to make sure the information is accurate and current. The homepage has a slideshow with pictures of our town provided by over 50 people. The website has a calendar to keep you up to date on town events, a public service announcement page, thank you, Supervisor Keating, as well as a list of businesses in town. I wound up personally contacting, requesting, and receiving permission from either the owner or a senior manager at each business to list the business. I've been very fortunate in that I've been able to meet a lot of interesting people while doing all that. I received the gratitude and endorsement of the town board for the site back in May of 2016.
Just a little while ago.
And have kept it up to date. It filled an important void for most of 2016 and beyond, while the town board prepared its next site and continues to do so even now. I'm proud to say that the cost of this site has been just $170 a year, plus a few days' time at the startup, learning the website software and uploading initial content. Now it takes just a few hours a week to maintain, again, in cooperation with the town clerk and board clerk and all those other folks I mentioned. This site is the only one on the internet that provides links to 10 years of video recordings of our town board meetings. Thank you, Shane. and as of today is the only place to see the last 11 years of town board meeting minutes. I've also gathered all the news reports, articles, letters, and so forth I can find talking about our town and posted them in chronological order so you can stay up to date on what goes on in Boston. One of my biggest thrills throughout all this was when I first saw this site on page 1 of a Google search for Boston, New York. Depending on how you ask Google to search for it, it now pops right to the top of the list. Other major search sites like Bing and DuckDuckGo also show this site on page 1. There are almost 50 people a day that visit the site, indicating it provides a useful service. A sincere thank you to all who make use of this site. Your visits have helped put it in that position, and your support also inspires me to continue this work. And just to add, almost 50 people a day. Can you imagine 50 people a day? I said 50 people a day walking in, visiting boston-ny.com and walking out. And friends, they may think it's a movement, and that's what it is. The boston-ny.com entire Massacre movement, and all you got to do to join is visit it the next time you're on the internet. With feeling. Thank you, Arlo Guthrie.
That's the best commercial I've ever heard, Jay. It's amazing. I think 2016. It's been a long time. The purpose.
Sarcasm of the support endorsement of 2016.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I was there.
Good
Anyway.
evening, Roy McLean, Pin Oak Drive. Two quick issues. First, I believe the town is going to extend this moratorium on solar and battery energy storage this evening, try and do that. The current moratorium language appears to be pretty broad. In fact, it's extremely broad. And it prohibits not only large commercial installations, but also common residential battery backup systems, products like Patriot and Anchor and Eco Solar and Jackery, things you probably have in your home today. These devices are widely used for emergency backup power during outages, severe weather events, and increasingly part of modern, normal residential life. We all have these battery backup things, little box that you plug in and it powers things up. The scope of the moratorium appears far broader than what would be reasonably considered a significant municipal risk. After, 16 months now of moratorium? Residents should reasonably expect a substantial amount of research and analysis would have been conducted. There's nothing been published, no specific work has been published on the website or mentioned in any meeting since then. And I'm curious, has anyone recognized safety standards such as UL certifications, New York State guidance? There was a mention of it, a year ago. National Fire Code standards, regulations adopted by neighboring municipalities. It doesn't appear that any of that's been done. At least it's not been mentioned publicly. A moratorium should not be an indefinite restriction on technologies that many residents already rely on for safety, resilience, and emergency preparedness. At present, the process lacks transparency regarding both the actual risks being evaluated and the path towards resolution. Second thing, recent heavy rains have once highlighted the significant drainage problems throughout the town, something that's highlighted in the famous comprehensive plan. Many residents experience flooding, in some cases quite severe. Numerous situations appear to involve drainage routes originating from town roads or other infrastructure that ultimately traverse private property as part of the historic or established drainage path. And while those systems if those systems aren't maintained or impacted some other way, that impact goes well beyond a single property and affects multiple homes and roadways. New York law, including Highway Law, Section 140, and Town Law, Section 64, subsection 11-A, provides towns with the authority to address drainage and stormwater infrastructure that protects public roads, benefits the broader community, including situations involving private property through the easement, permission, and other lawful means. Our own town supervisor has this document for easement posted on the website. Despite this, though, residents are frequently being told by the town, many of you here, that the town cannot perform drainage work once water crosses private property, even when the drainage originates from town infrastructure and it impacts multiple residents. That interpretation appears inconsistent with both state law and common municipal practice across this state. Residents need clarity on the town's position on drainage policy its willingness to address known drainage paths, and what actions are being taken to prevent flooding and infrastructure damage. Ignoring known drainage routes because they cross private property does not eliminate the problem. As our highway superintendent said in an open meeting, he doesn't have a problem, the residents have a problem. It simply is transferring the burden to the residents while the underlying conditions continue to worsen. Proactive drainage management protects public roads, private property, emergency access, and ultimately the taxpayers paying all of your salaries. Town has imposed and extended a broad moratorium on solar and battery energy storage systems, despite the fact that the town has never experienced a utility-scale battery storage fire, a solar farm incident, or any documented local emergency associated with any of those systems. Yet we have a moratorium on it for 1.5 years. You're trying to go to 2 years. At the same time, drainage and flooding problems are not hypothetical future problems. They're recurring, documented problems that already affect roads, homes, property, residents throughout the community. Development decisions that increase runoff, alter drainage patterns, and reduce natural absorption areas have a direct and measurable impact on flooding and infrastructure strain. Yet there doesn't seem to be the same level of urgency at all. There's no restriction, no regulatory focus applied to those areas, but we're awfully worried about something that hasn't happened yet. If the town is going to use precautionary logic to protect future risks associated with emerging technologies, residents reasonably expect the same level of attention and urgency to be applied to existing infrastructure and drainage problems that are already causing real damage, not imaginary damage that might happen someday. The inconsistency is really hard to understand. I'd love an explanation. I'd also really like an explanation of the interpretation of the town and state laws. I understand our attorney is here. Perhaps he should study some of those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard Hawkins, 6892 Pin Oak Drive. First of all, I'd like to thank the Highway Superintendent and his crew for, I know they've been really busy out there now picking up branches and stuff with the new month coming up and everything. And also the drainage problems up on Pin Oak where he cleaned the culvert, that pipe across the street from my neighbor. I really want to thank him and the crew for going up and doing that and stuff. Also, I know Mr. Stefan has just walked into a new position for the last 5 or 6 months with the drainage. And it's probably, as far as I'm concerned, probably one of the most important positions and the responsibilities that the town has. My understanding from the supervisor, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, that all the tributaries now that run into 18 Mile Creek are protected waterways and stuff for different things. But we have a lot, and I'll give you an example. And the supervisors brought it up. There are at least 4 trees that are directly behind Nikki Charlap's business down there. And if you drive down to his parking lot and just take the side parking lot that drives behind his building, you can see 4 large trees that have completely blocked 18 Mile Creek and the debris that's piling up behind it as the water continues and the erosion and stuff and all the twigs and branches and trees that come down. We now have 1 or 2 or 3 possibly on the tributary that goes behind the Patch and Fire Company that the erosion has taken down several large trees, roots, everything. They're all laying in the creek. Okay. I've told the fire company we'll go up and if we have to take a chainsaw and cut them up by blocks and whatever else to try to remove it or something. But as the predecessor has stated, one of the problems that we have in Boston, and everybody knows that, is a drainage problem, severe drainage problems. And we really need to start looking at what's being done. I know back when I was around, and I know the supervisor, Mark Gaston, has been very involved in the town of Boston in years and years and years of phases that we have done in 18 Mile Creek. I can take you to Back Creek right now and introduce you to a home that the house was in the air. because the whole corner of the house was washed out from 18 Mile Creek. They were afraid they were going to lose their house. We've formed three phases in that project of cleaning out 18 Mile Creek. Okay, and I know it can be done. I know the town was involved. Mark Gaston was involved. The homeowner was involved.
Right.
There was many that are involved in that project of trying to rectify, because it's not just the town problem. It's everybody's problem that needs to be done. And we need to really look at that. If not, I hope you've reached out to Mark Gaston, because there are severe problems in town that need to be rectified, and we can't hold off. We're getting more water every freaking day, every day. And Pin Oak, after clearing the property over there, my understanding is that the subdivision is done for now. With that, developer has pulled out right at the moment. Doesn't mean another one may not come in tomorrow or whatever, because it's still serious drainage problems. A lot of those homes are getting done. My understanding is also that the money has been allocated for possibly Boston State Road this year, of possibly milling and doing Boston State Road. I think it would be a waste of taxpayers and county money. And don't get me wrong, the road needs to be replaced. It needs to be milled. It needs to have a new road, because there are more people driving on the opposite side of the road that are driving on the right side of the road to try to miss the chuck holes and the holes that are in that road. But it would be really stupid to put a new road in, and then after the road is in, figure out we've got to dig and dig and dig culvert pipes underneath the Boston State Road to get drainage from one side of the road to the other side of the road. And that is one of the major problems that we have in town. Major problems, the whole length of the town. And also, I know, Jason, you know that I'm probably getting it wrong, but I'm not sure if it's NISAC or whoever that put the culvert pipes in on the power line.
Oh, that's National Grid.
National Grid, okay? They need to go up there and to make some checks, because I believe some of those pipes up there need trash racks to keep those culverts clean, or to come up and clean the debris away so that debris is flowing the way it should be. And that's just, if you could check into that, it would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give out our stats for the month of April. The Sheriff's Office, we handled 82 calls. We had over 240 complaint logs generated.
Wow.
We had 41 premise checks, 9 community policings, 23 traffic stops. 4 of those 23 were arrests, 2 DWI with 2 suspended license arrests. A total of 5 traffic complaints. We had 6 accidents. I issued a summons to a large vehicle in the parking lot of the town hall. It was leaking oil and fluids all over the parking lot into the field. It sat there for
3 days.
at least a week or so. I don't know who came to get it, if they contacted the town at all.
Nothing yet.
But I let the court know as well. If there's any issues with that, please let me know, and I have all their information for insurance purposes. Also, it's brought to my attention, residents were concerned about a camera near Fairlane, I think it was.
Yes, correct.
That's a traffic counter. It's not taking anyone's picture or a speed camera or whatever. All these people were coming up with their own.
Take on it.
Yeah. So obviously, if it's a public roadway, can we do it? Yes. It takes a letter and a knock on a door. We can put up a camera.
Yep.
And there's nothing they can do about it. But that is a traffic counter, I believe, because they're getting ready to do Boston State Road to see the traffic that comes through.
Yep.
So obviously, next week we're going to try to meet to discuss some fireworks ideas for the event here for the 4th of July. We're going to meet and discuss that. I just got the e-bike out this week, so I plan on patrolling with that at some point. I had 2 today that were following the law. There's state law, obviously, like wear your helmet, follow the rules of the road. You have to be 16 or older to drive them. The issue that we have, obviously, if there's youth and they're under 16, people like just find the parents. It's easier said than done. If my son's driving a car and he's driving 80 down the road, I don't want to get a fine for it. That's my take on it. So we can discuss that in the future if you have any questions. Obviously, many municipalities have created their own laws with their own take on impounding, first offense, second offense, third offense, and a fee along with it. There's some pushback from the community. Some say it's good for safety. It's one of those things that there was a article at the sheriff's office was the one that was out there and said you have to do that. I'm just leaving it up to the towns. Like, you don't have to. I'm not forcing your or twisting your arm, or it's up to the town. Just consider that if there's problems and people come to you, consider that I'm going to tell you, no, sorry. Like, there's certain laws out there on the state that we enforce. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. It's not pretend there's something and then just to scare them from doing it. And I believe that's it. Let me know if there's anything upcoming, and I'll feel free to take care of it and help out.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Hearing nothing else, moving on to item 2 for our new business is item 2 is resolution 2026-33, allocating excess 2025 sales tax and budget amendments. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-33, where we are going to be amending the revenue code in the fire department for interfund transfers in the corresponding service award program benefits for $110,754,000 with the additional excess sales tax to cover the increase of the service award program in 2026.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Resolution, item number 3, is resolution 2026-34 for 2025 year-end budget amendments. And Councilman Penders, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, sir. I'd make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-34, whereas the town is in the process of closing the accounting records for the fiscal year, and we're increasing the appropriation, transfer to capital project funds in the amount of $293,000. Increase the revenue for gifts and donations to $500. Increase appropriation, transfers to capital projects funds in the amount of $500. Increase appropriation for the lighting contractual in the amount of $1,400.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 4 tonight is resolution 2026-35 for the 2025 year-end budget transfers. And Councilman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2026-36, which our existing fire alarm panel has reached the end of its life cycle in the highway garage.
Okay.
35, Kelly.
That's 36.
Oh, where am I? 30? I'm sorry.
Guess one. I say they can see the barcodes on the back.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I completely missed that one. Again, I'm going to back up. Okay. I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-35, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. These are year-end budget transfers for the year of 2025. Again, closing the accounting records for the fiscal year. There's some funding that needs to be adjusted in the town budget. So I'm making a motion to make the following appropriations.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. And now item number 5 tonight is resolution 2026-36, authorizing an upgrade to the highway garage fire alarm system. And Councilman Stefan, would you like to take that item?
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution number 2026-36, which is the Town of Boston Highway Garage requires a reliable and up-to-date fire alarm system to ensure safety of the personnel, equipment, and property. And in order to do so, Town of Boston has authorized the upgrade and installation of a system not to exceed $6,670 for the building and equipment.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman,
Approval of change order for fuel tank removal for number 2. And Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Sure. There were some questions regarding this in our executive, in our pre-meeting, and this resolution number 2037 unfortunately has an associated change order for $11,950, and it was regarding a DEC regulation in emergency, and unfortunately these increased costs had implied the fuel tank removal. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating.
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 7 tonight is Resolution 2026-38, adoption of the application for display of fireworks. And Councilman Penders, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, I would. Make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-38, the adoption of an application for the display of fireworks.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating.
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 8 tonight is Resolution 2026-39, which is an approval to retain dual archaeology and cultural resource management. I'll take this item tonight. There's some discussion downstairs. As we all know, there's been extensive water line projects going on throughout the community. So I'd like to make a motion to approve 2026-39 at the recommendation of our town engineer CPL in review for the SHPO proposal and also the ground survey proposal.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating.
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 9 is Resolution 2026-40. This is classifying Boston Phase 2 in the town of Boston as a Type 1 action, establishing lead agency and determining the significance of such action and directing that the negative declaration be published in accordance with SEQR. SEQR, again, is State Environmental Quality Review Act. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the town of Boston Town Board taking 2026-40.
I'll second.
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan. Motion carried.
All right. Item number 10 tonight is Resolution 2026-41, which is an adoption of lateral restrictions for water and sewer service within an agricultural district. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Supervisor, I make a motion to accept resolution 2026-41, which adopts a lateral restriction for water sewer service within all agricultural districts. It's establishing future water districts along portions of Lango Road, Boston Colden Road, and Cole Road. They're located within the county adopted state certified agricultural district. This imposes lateral restrictions on water and sewer service within agricultural districts in order to protect agricultural lands and limit non-farm development. I make a motion to this resolution.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 11 tonight is to schedule a public hearing to extend for an additional 6 months a moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of applications and issuance of permits for battery energy storage systems. The motion would be to schedule a public hearing for June 3rd at 7:35 p.m. And that motion's on the table.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. The next three items are all related to the fire company. So items number 12 is an approval of new member for Boston Fire Company, Carlos Zeminski. Item 13 is approval of new member Boston Fire Company Junior Firefighter Program, Robert Mayer. And also 14 is approval of new members for Patchen Fire Company, Aiden Holmes and hope I'm pronouncing this, Avon Malloy. So Councilman Penders, would you like to take that item?
I'd like a motion that we approve all three members for the Boston Fire Company and also the Patchen Fire
Four
Company.
members. There's actually
I'm sorry,
four.
4.
Yep.
Make that a correction. We'll start over with this one. Approve the new member of the Boston Fire Company, Carlos Zeminski. Also approve the new Junior Firefighter Program, Robert Meyer. And the approval of new member for the Patchen Fire Company, Aiden Holmes and Avon Malloy.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 15 is an absence for Tina Huestel from July 20th of 2026 to August 28th of 2026. And Councilman Stefan, would you like to take that item?
Well, just to reiterate, Tina Weisdell has requested absence from July 20th to August 28th. I make a motion to accept her request.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item 16 is to approve a leave of absence for Vera Langens from July 10th of 2026 through July 20th of 2026, and also August 26, 2026 through August 28th, 2026, and then another leave from September 2nd of 2026 through September 4th of 2026. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Supervisor, I make a motion to accept Vera Langen's leave of absence from the Congregate Dining Nutrition Department for the dates mentioned, July 10th through the 20th, August 26th through the 28th, or 2nd through the September 4th in the year of 2026.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. That is it for our new business tonight. We have no old business reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. First, report that the second spring brush pickup started Friday, May 1st. Every road will be done once in May. It's just like the guys mark down, every time they do a road, they mark down the date and what road gets done. Boston State Road got done on Monday. So if somebody else calls on Boston State Road, excuse me, but Boston State Road has been done for the spring brush pickup as long as every road gets marked the date gets done. We're going to have a lot of wood chips to get rid of. Anybody looking for wood chips, fill out a sheet. Street sweeping on town roads have all been done. Every street was swept. We're still doing ditching. Plow damage is pretty much cleaned up. This week, maybe next week, because the gas company up on Pin Oak, we're going to change pipe going down to Boston State Road where it ties into the receiver on Boston State Road on the south side. The gas company's, and so I don't know if we'll get there this week, but that pipe will be changed. First duplex going up Pin Oak, the Shunk property, the pipes in their driveway will be changed. We got fill available. Anybody in town looking for fill? Thursday, depending on the weather next week, if they don't get a rain, Monday and Thursday, we're scheduled for Thursday and Friday. We're going to be Nova Chip and Sherrill Road and Valley Circle. There's still some issues up there. I don't know how we're coming with the easements, if we got any easements up there, if we're working on that.
We're working on it.
Okay, well, that's good because the girl's been kind of calling. Marksman fence. We had some fence damage out here this year from plowing the snow and pushing it up. Marksman fence donated the railings and whatever what we needed. Very nice of them. The fuel tanks are coming along. Should be another 2-3 weeks, hopefully, unless they run into a problem, but they're coming along pretty well. The new truck I reported on 3 months ago or maybe longer, the new plow truck, the 2025, we had issues with that. Finally, I think they're getting it kind of figured out what's wrong by next winter. Other than that, I'd like to Richie Hawkins for the words tonight, and I'd like to tell him that I talked to Mark Gaston, that creek behind the fire hall between the power line and the fire hall. That's scheduled for one of the projects for this year in the town of Boston. As far as Boston State Road go, and they said they're scheduled for June to mill and pave State Road. And other than that, it's funny you bring up about the power line, because up in Pinoak, or not Pinoak, up on Hickory Meadows, where our gravel dam is up there, somebody was up there digging out where we got our access road. They got it all gouged out and dug it out, and us going up that road that goes up to the power line. So I kind of went up there. Sure enough, all our material was dumped along the road. I don't know why they dumped it there like they did, but anyway, I know where it went. And then I drove down the power line, first time in probably years. And actually, I was surprised that all the cricks, the pipes were really looking pretty much opened up. There's a few trash racks that really don't do much up there, but I didn't see major blockage. Only one pipe had a little bit of stuff in front of it. The other ones were wide open. So actually, it looked pretty good. And then about the resolution tonight, 2026-37, we talked downstairs quite a bit about this, because I had a problem with LaBelle doing the work down there, charging the town $11,950 for 2 guys to be down there for about 3 hours, a young boy and a girl testing the dirt. $11,950 in this resolution, and there's no documentation on what they did. They just charge whatever they want. And I have a problem with that. I don't know how we could approve that tonight, but that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Wow. 10 years, Jay and Shane. Thanks for your work. I can't believe years that you've been doing that. I can remember quite vividly when it started up 10 years ago. And I thank you so much for your service and what you do for the town. It does not go unnoticed. So thanks for that. Also, I'm looking forward to Saturday. I know probably Councilwoman Martin would report on this. I just want to say it's a great event, the Fishing Derby. My little grandkids enjoy it every year. Go there at 9:30 on Saturday, and hopefully the weather cooperates. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. Councilman Penders, you have the floor.
I'd like to report that I attended the fire chiefs meeting down at the Patchen Fire Hall, and I was impressed by how professional and how all of the attendees were, and all the information that amongst themselves to work in cooperation if they ever have a large fire. So it was quite enlightening, and it was a very good meeting. And I appreciate that we have a good volunteer fire company here in the town of Boston.
Anything else?
That'll do it.
All righty, sir. Councilman Stefan, you have the floor.
Just to reiterate the issue with drainage, I think now that we're in spring and all the rain we have, we're just waiting for everything to start to dry up a little bit, and then once it's functioning, like you can actually move some vehicles, we will have something going. So we're working with nature here.
Anything else? Good. All right. Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
Well, I'm surprised Councilman Penders didn't mention that the night that you guys had that meeting that our own Tom Eddington was awarded his 50 years of service. So congrats to him. And Jay Jackson, thank you for your faithful service to the town for the last 10 years, and I'm sure more than that. And yes, the Fishing Derby is a Saturday put on by the Conservation Advisory Council. So come on out and enjoy some fishing down at our town.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I have a report from a few residents in town. This was regarding the County Department of Health, the free rabies vaccine clinics. There was one on Saturday, May 2nd in town of Tonawanda Highway Department. I I didn't know was so involved with this service, but I guess there was quite a few volunteers, and there's vet techs and veterinarians on site. So there, like I said, there was always that already the one on Saturday, May 2nd, but there is one coming up weekend, Saturday, May 9th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Buffalo Public School, number 84 in the parking lot there. That's at 462 Grider Street. Only if there is any resident in town who is a dog owner that is in need of a rabies vaccination, there is no charge for this. So please take advantage of that. That certainly helps when you license your dog, because proof of rabies vaccination is required. But it's not just for dogs, it's for ferrets and indoor and outdoor cats. So part of the correspondence this evening was the town clerk is going to appoint a full-time deputy clerk. That is Carla Mead, a lifelong resident of the town of Boston. So I'm very pleased about that. That should be a good plus for my office. And let's see. Oh, one more thing. Memorial Day is Monday, May 25th. The town of Boston will hold the service at 1 to 2 p.m. under the Lion Shelter. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Couple things. Actually, I've got a kind of a laundry list tonight since it's been a little while since we've had a meeting. So I want to give the public an update on Words Funeral Home. I know this is always a topic that comes up. Residents pop out regarding Words Funeral Home. But unfortunately, a youth, full disclosure here, a youth had gotten into Words Funeral Home again. And so the state troopers had secured the site. They had addressed the minor, and code enforcement has since reboarded up the building. Code enforcement provided the town board with pictures of the inside of the building. The condition, which we've known for years, is bad. There's obviously no secret to that. And we've been having ongoing deliberations of going through the unsafe structure procedures, but also there's a county component here right now. And the town clerk and the board were discussing downstairs, that property is on the back taxes number of around $500,000, give or take, since that property went defunct. And that was actually my first year as supervisor. So New York State Funeral Director Association reached out to my office asking for us to take down the sign as a property, not our job, not our business to take that down. So anyway, but the building is obviously in bad shape. We are taking a serious look at that, not in the past. But again, we have the responsibility based off our town codes to continue to keep that building boarded up. So in the near future, you'll probably see a resolution authorizing us to put that cost for reboarding up the structure back on the taxes for the assessor to handle that. But that's an update on Words Funeral Home there. I did want to bring up that the holiday lighting, the AIA contract was just signed the other day. We're hoping to have a meeting with Ludon in the near future. They're the same company that was the low bid for the fuel tank project. They were also low bid on the holiday lighting project. So once they have some time, and they're probably not working down there, they'll have a meeting with us to work on the holiday lighting, and we'll get that up and underway and hopefully resolved. Next meeting, I do have the contract from Legislator Mills. I know he was here at our last meeting. We have the contract from Erie County for the $20,000 donation that Legislator Mills provided for that particular project. Unfortunately, it was supposed to be on tonight's agenda. Unfortunately, it was not. There were some verbiage changes that I had to kick back to the county attorney's office. It wasn't correct, so they're fixing that. Hopefully, we'll have it in time for the next meeting. But once we get that meeting, that'll get underway. County Comptroller will scratch out the check, and we'll put that into the fund to offset the cost of all of the holiday lights. So that is that there. And here we go. Work zones. I know I brought the Dig 811, but we had this is a serious matter. Please make sure if you're doing any outside work, you have a contractor that you've reached out to work on your property. You as the property owner are responsible for calling 811. Yes, a lot of times the contractor will do it for you, but it does fall back on the homeowner as well. It's kind of a double-edged sword here. Just today, to give you an idea, you can't make this up, and I hate to put the county out there, but it's going to be out there. If you haven't seen it on the news yet, it might be later. The county was working up on Broadway today, and when they were cutting through the line, they cut through fiber optic lines, coaxial lines, power lines, all buried utilities. For whatever reason, the landowner, this is a story that's hot off the press, they wanted to cut the grass, so they moved those Dig 811 flags. The county thought they knew where they were cutting. They moved the legs, and they cut where they thought they were safe and they were not. So, and I have had this call come into my office. This was probably 3 weeks ago now, because we didn't have a meeting 2 weeks ago. There's a resident up on Cole had asked, I want to cut my grass. Can I move these pink flags? I said, please do not move those flags. I said, if you do, make sure they go exactly back. Why? Because again, we get into these situations. So please call Dig 811. The penalties are a little quite stiff. They do take that seriously. So again, Dig 811. And then also for all of our highway crews, not just our town folks, but also county and state, obey the flaggers. We got a lot of DOT folks here, not only just county, town employees, but county and state employees that live and work here. They have families. Keep them safe. Make sure they go home to their families. So if you see a flag, they are up above and beyond any traffic control device. They are the traffic control device. So please make sure you obey all flaggers. He ducked out, but there was a call into the town on Fairlane. That is a traffic count camera. So if you see a black like a camera, that's a traffic count camera. They don't lay the black lines over for traffic counting. I did have a question probably about a month ago. State DOT is putting in traffic counting cameras at the intersection of Boston State, Zimmerman, Herman Hill. If you happen to look at the two adjacent poles, one by NBT Bank and one over by the Salon/CVS, you'll see two kind of gooseneck fixtures there. There's going to be cameras placed there for traffic devices. It's something that the state's been slowly rolling out across the state. Well, guess what? Little town of Boston, I guess we got our bingo ball called because we now have them there as well. So that's an update on cameras in our community. Bob touched base on the paving for Boston Road. Just wanted to I did not know this, but just so residents know, I'm shaking my head. It's just one more thing in our world, right? Sky lanterns. If you're familiar with the sky lanterns, these are where you light a candle and it's kind of like a paper bag type silhouette, and they float up into the sky and they look nice to kids, and families love them. Well, Erie County banned them. So sky lanterns are banned all across Erie County, and this is in guise to protect farms, animals, and public safety. They explain what they are. The fire hazards that they can land on. It's all relatively legitimate. They can land on homes, barns, fields, cars, livestock, pets, wildlife. You just go down the laundry list of things that they have on here. What they're saying is that Erie County prohibits the sale and use of all sky lanterns, and it's directing that all sky lanterns be removed from shelves, displays, and any online listings coming into Erie County. For event planners, they're obviously telling them to stay away from them, and to for any violations to report violations to your local fire department or law enforcement. Full disclosure, you are all here when you saw me speaking with Deputy Miller. He's not quite sure how to enforce that because that's been an ongoing deliberation. We'll let the county figure that one out because we don't have a police department, so that is on them. I wish I had better guidance for you, but this is what the document crafted from Erie County says. Please call your local fire department or local law enforcement. So, Rich, I don't know how you would do anything on this, but there it is. Maybe then that was true. In today's world, in 2026, it's a closest car system. So if we're motoring down the road and we see an accident, we're in an accident, you dial 911. God forbid you've ever been in that scenario, but I have called where I've witnessed an accident, and you can't make this story up. I've been placed on hold when you dial 911. Let me transfer you. And the part of the reason being is that they will transfer you through, and it's either a state police or Erie, where we live, Erie County Sheriff or state police will respond based off of closest car. So you are correct. Then in today's world, you dial 911, it's dispatch handles it. Did have a meeting with Skylighters on our fireworks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be big. So stay tuned. Please come out and visit. It is going to be, like I said, it's going to be, we obviously 250 years. We're planning on a big event. There is a meeting next Monday. We're going to be scheduling and meeting with the fire, Dave Appa from Patchen. We're going to be meeting with them and working with our fire police and our law enforcement agencies to make sure everybody gets home safe from the event. I just wanted to give a brief update on ErieNet. It is on schedule. There are two, you've heard me report on this a couple of times at town board meetings. There's two internet service providers, GoNetSpeed and Cognet. They're the first two internet service providers. Think of them like Spectrum versus Verizon. They are going to be part of that middle mile dark fiber build out. So once that happens, and then the end mile, Verizon, Spectrum, et cetera, they will sign on. That'll be for businesses, homes, et cetera, down the road. But that's, above and beyond Erie Net's purpose. Speaking of drainage, that's always the hot topic in our town. On the April 22nd West New York Stormwater Coalition meeting, then there's new MS4 municipal separate stormwater sewer systems. Say that a few times fast, but MS4 short. Regs and community outfall inspections. That's for code enforcement and highway DPWs to make sure that they're checking outfalls, make sure they're not prohibited or clogged up with any material, et cetera. And also if there's any, let's say there's somebody tosses a can of oil out the window of their vehicle and it gets into the watershed. Lake Erie has a large watershed, as we know, second largest county in all of upstate New York. But that is the purpose of the MS4. Not all areas in town are part of this MS4 designation, but we do follow that criteria, and the regulations from New York State are incredibly strict. We'd already touched base on Tom Eddington. I was at a press conference with Congressman Langworthy. Have some good news to report for Erie County. If you didn't catch it on the news last night or on the sheriff's page, Congressman Langworthy had secured $4.2 million for 2 new helicopters for Erie County, which is a big deal. Our Air One right now, many of us elected officials were there. We were speaking with the mechanics. Air One, sadly, is on the ground more than it's in the air, and it's because of FAA regulations. It's an old bird. The laundry list goes on. So the concept is these 2 new helicopters will serve the community very well for 30, hopefully up to 30 years. And the idea is that they'll get them on an offset maintenance rotation schedule. So that way, gosh forbid, somebody does fall into Chestnut Ridge, which our first responders deal with these scenarios. They'll be able to call in that air support, and they'll have the support versus calling in somebody from another county or otherwise. So really nice event, great opportunity countywide. The National Fuel, I'm glad to hear from Bob that National Fuel's on there. That was one of National Fuel's, back when you reached out to me, Rich, that was one of National Fuel's biggest projects. That was a $1.2 million project back in the day. So it's good to hear that it's relatively clear, but if anybody sees other way.
There was an area where there was actually a retention pond out there by one of those drains. That's completely filled.
Pretty much, but there's a pipe up above it for an overflow. But there's a pipe up above the lower pipe.
Yes.
So when that filled up down there, the water still goes through and it's not. Because there was no water in the pond. It was pretty much gone through. It didn't look bad.
And then just getting to the open floor sessions, I did not want to leave those out, and I just want to be cognizant of everybody's time here. So battery energy storage moratorium, that remains in effect because we don't have a code on the books right now. Today, if the town did not have a moratorium, it'd be basically a special use permit for $25, and you could have anything out there. Regarding the Jackery, the Anchor, any of those other small battery, it doesn't pertain to that. Essentially, there's not even a code yet. But all systems are considered battery energy storage systems. So whether it's we legally have to follow NYSERDA's guidelines on this. This is a state law. It is. What would you want to call it then? Well, you're telling me to change it, so I'm asking for what you think. No, it does not. Well, again, I guess everybody's entitled to their opinion, but the town legally has to follow NYSERDA's guidelines. So the reason that there's a moratorium is because battery energy storage system, this is where a licensed electrician will connect a wall pack, a battery system for a solar array, or even large scale commercial. So because we do not have a code on the books, which is why we placed a moratorium, and we did have a proposal for the record. I think other than the 2 new board members, and my apologies, because I guess we haven't had that conversation yet, but other board members know, there's a proposal over at the Cobble Hill substation, which is off of Dunn Road. There's a developer that came in, was going to buy that residential property and put on a 22-acre battery energy storage system. So, at that time, because we did not have a code, we implemented a moratorium to design a code. And right now there's litigation on the solar project over on FEDEC. The criteria that we have and the language that we have in the code that is that's being worked on because you look at battery energy storage and solar, those two dovetail together according to NYSERDA. And with that language, we have to wait to see how the court rules there. Based off of that, then we can finalize. The code is basically in a draft format, ready to go. We need to know what direction that the judge is going to rule or make the zoning board rehear the case. And then we lift that moratorium and we have the public hearing, we adopt the code, and then that's put to bed. That's how that works. That's the law. So I understand you're not happy with that answer, but that's the law.
Anybody could, but you made it so broad you want everything. In contrast to that, real problems we have. No moratorium on development of building.
You can't put a moratorium on building and development.
You can certainly do a lot of things to block it, which you're more than happy to have lots and lots of development occur and not do anything about it whatsoever as far as drainage goes. And yet this petition.
If you want to come to the microphone and speak, Mr. McLean, you certainly can. Well, then I'm going to ask respectfully, I'm going to ask you to stop speaking because the rules of order is to come up to the microphone.
I'd be glad to.
Because when the
bottom
town
line is
clerk's
very
doing,
simple, right, is that you have a moratorium on something that hasn't occurred yet. And I agree.
this is an open
Commercial
floor
scale-
session.
You just asked me to come back to the microphone. Did you not?
I did, but I'm
Okay,
just,
so here.
I'm just
So now you're gonna
clarifying.
hear-
This isn't a back and forth dialogue, but
Asked me to come back. Did you not?
you're doing the same thing you did at the planning board. But yes, you can continue.
Did everyone hear? Did he not say to come back to the microphone?
I acknowledge that I asked you to step to the microphone
then,
so the
but
town
it's a
clerk
very
can
simple thing.
have
I
her
don't wanna
minutes.
get in your face. I'm just trying to be very simple with it, right? Is that you have created a moratorium
Yep.
to block battery energy storage systems. And I agree with you on commercial scale. However, the very simple language in the moratorium covers everything. In fact, it literally says anything greater than 1 car battery, which is ridiculous because people have things like golf carts and battery backups for their house and so forth. But you've blocked everything.
Right. Because
It's just a very, but let me finish, please.
sure.
Okay. So I get that you're trying to protect us from something that could happen with commercial scale things. I get it. I agree with you. I'm 100% in support of that.
Fair enough.
Just rewrite the moratorium so you're not making things that people buy for their residents illegal. It's silly. Let me finish though.
I am.
You're putting all this focus, and apparently you want 2 years to study that, right? But yet you won't do anything around the problems we really have around drainage. It's in your comprehensive plan. It's the number one problem. It's the number one thing fed back. You hear it at all the meetings. We have all these issues with drainage,
Yep.
and you've not done one thing to stop any kind of development or other things that directly impact drainage. Zero.
I have that here to answer.
Around what work you've done over the last 14 months now, 16 months, looking into battery energy storage systems, other than quoting the New York State standard. So that's my challenge with it. You're
Understood.
very vocal about one thing, not
Understood.
about something else that actually impacts residents.
Yep.
And that inconsistency makes everyone wonder what's really motivating the town board.
Understood. So we know the size of the battery. If you have a solar array, small lithium batteries about the size of a battery, which a lot of people use on their RVs and otherwise because they have a solar system or solar panels on top of their camper, and then they have a lithium battery. That is why that scale is directed that way. Because if you have solar on your property, that's why. So we can absolutely have a conversation at the end of the meeting, but that is why it's there. We legally, this town board, any town board that's in New York State, I'm not going to get into the politics, but New York State, you follow the NYSERDA guidelines and the guidebook. It's available online. The town board has it. That is the beginning part of that multi-page document covering all these bases. I wish it wasn't so. I don't, again, I think we agree here. I really do. It's just a matter of the language that's there, and that's determined by people out in Albany, nobody under this roof. And there's certain things, but again, we could be here all night talking about battery energy storage, truly. Because the next thing, if you really want to get into the weeds, when the governor's talked about nuclear, that is the next thing. I had a conference on this last Thursday, NIOT, New York Association of Towns. For those of you who want nuclear, take a look at some of the language, and I would be able or happy to provide the documentation from Harder Seacrest Emery. They're a law firm out in Rochester. What they're saying is that they're looking at low population communities, and that is where they're looking to put nuclear. So if you don't like wind and you don't like solar and you don't want battery, guess what's the next thing on the horizon? Nuclear. That the language is there. ORES, which is Office of Renewable Energy Systems, out in Albany, they're gonna regulate it. They're gonna handle it, and they're basically gonna tell municipalities what they can have in their communities. It's crazy. So it just continues to go on. This is our state. I know a lot of people don't like our state, but I don't make these rules. This is coming out of Albany. So for drainage, yes, we have absolutely worked on drainage. I'd be happy to answer those questions. I know Councilman Stefan's been doing work on some of these matters. The proposed development that was over there, it is correct that the applicant did basically pull away from that. So the secret process probably would have fixed some of those matters. It is what it is. Now we don't know. It could be a developer, it could be a house, who knows? It depends on what the landowner, whoever they decide to sell. Legally, a municipality cannot put to be deemed as unconstitutional. There's already existing case law on this. But if a town board decided to ever put a moratorium on building, whether it's a house or multiple homes or even subdivisions, it'd be deemed as unconstitutional because the landowner has a legal right to sell their land. A developer has a right to build their property, and it's already, again, the case law is already there. So I wish that was a thing. Town of Hamburg tried it. It was pulled away. Go look at the board meeting minutes. Town of Lancaster tried it. They were sued for unconstitutionality. They lost. It's not something we can do. But as far as drainage goes, we do have a townwide drainage plan. We are working on it, but we also have to work with our partners, and that's Erie County and New York State, the utilities and everything else. If it's Boston State Road, that's governed by the county. We have to work with them. So going back to paving and then putting in a culvert, that comment that was made, we don't control that. That's a decision being by Erie County. What they do, what their engineering spec out, that's completely on them. This town board, we could all write letters. We could raise the red flags, whatever we want to do. That's a decision by Erie County. I don't know what's going to happen. When Rich brought that culvert, I think that's the one you're referring to my attention, the commissioner's office and the engineer said that's on the list, but it doesn't warrant replacement. I've done my job as a supervisor of the town. I've done my job. I've reached out to the county. I've notified the deputy commissioner and their engineering team, and they said it doesn't warrant replacement. It's on the schedule, but not now. That's the truth. So that's an Erie County decision, not a town decision. As far as other drainage projects in town, again, when it comes to private property, there's either temporary or permanent deeded access to a parcel. Legally, a town board cannot expend taxpayer revenues on private property. And then as far as the property over by the property over by the fire hall here, that project with Mark Aston, I'm the chairman for the Erie County Water Quality Committee. Mark Aston and I meet regularly. That project was in the works. That's going to be funded by LUPA funding, and that's how that's getting paid for. And so Corey Paul is your adjacent neighbor. That's how that got funded, and basically Corey and Mark are working on that. So there's your full answer there. I think I have everything. So that's all I have. I know it's gone for a long meeting, but I'm always happy to answer questions. So I'll make a motion to end the meeting 8:38 p.m.
Second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Penders,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilman Stefan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
Got it ramped up. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, did you get my memo? Oh, I sent it via email. Okay.